Some goals are just numbers, but there are others that become art, a masterpiece, history. These weren't just goals, they were eternal moments. Shouts that echoed around the world.
Why not have a go? He has done! Oh my!
Settle in, because today you're going to see the most beautiful goals from the biggest stars in football. Let's start with a goal that went down in history. The 2008/2009 Champions League quarterfinals, a decisive clash. Porto versus Manchester United. In the first leg, a 2-2 draw at Old Trafford. Now, everything would be decided at the Estadio do Dragão, and the reigning champions were betting everything on one man, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best in the world that season. And it didn't take long for the magic to happen. At the 5-minute mark, Anderson carried the ball through the middle and laid it off to Cristiano Ronaldo from way out. The number 7 controlled it, lifted his head, and unleashed an absurd screamer. A guided missile. The ball flew with so much power, it seemed to tear through the air and went straight into the top corner. Keeper Helton tried to save it, but he had no chance. One of the most spectacular goals in Champions League history. A shot from over 35 meters, which would deservedly win the Puskas Award. Porto fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. The stadium, silent. The Portuguese genius had scored one of the greatest goals of his career, and against a club from his own country. Still, in the first half, United almost extended their lead. Giggs took a corner from the left, and Vidic appeared like a hurricane in the 6-yard box. He slid in, but the ball went over the bar. Porto tried to respond, but hit a red wall. The defenders, Vidic and Ferdinand, and the fullback, Evra, formed one of the most solid defenses in world football. The Portuguese couldn't get through. They only tried their luck from distance, without any danger. The Dragons' best chance came at the end. The midfielder, Mariano Gonzalez, made a good play down the right, crossed it low. The striker, Lisandro Lopez, appeared in the box and hit it first time. But the finish was weak. An easy save for the experienced keeper, Van der Sar. And that's how the game ended. 1-0 to United. But it wasn't just any goal, it was an anthological goal. A work of art from Cristiano Ronaldo. A shot to stop the world. A moment that still echoes on Champions League nights to this day. The next stunner was in a friendly, Sweden versus England in 2012. The Friends Arena, the home of the Swedes, was the stage for a magical night for football, where Ibrahimovic stole the show and made history. At 19 minutes, Sweden was already showing that the game would be tense. The midfielder Olsen came down the left and put in a low cross for Ibrahimovic. The striker hit it first time, but the ball deflected off the defender. On the rebound, the number 10 made no mistake, and with a toe poke, put it in the top corner, past Hart. 1-0, and Sweden took the lead. But the game still had more drama in store. At 31 minutes, a mistake from Hart was almost fatal. Ibra won the ball from the English keeper's poor clearance and passed to Young, but the striker sent it over. A missed opportunity that could have changed the story of the match. And that's when the game balanced out. 3 minutes later, the striker Welbeck received a great cross and equalized for England. Right after, more excitement. The winger Sterling was brought down in the midfield, and the ref blew the whistle. Gerrard whipped in the free kick. The defender Cocker appeared unmarked to put the English ahead, sending the crowd into a frenzy. 2-1 to England, but Ibrahimovic still had a lot more to offer. In the second half, around the 77th minute, he delivered again. He received a long ball, masterfully chested it down, and without letting the ball drop, sent it into the left corner past Hart. No chance for the English keeper. 2-2, a goal of pure class from the Swedish icon. But he didn't stop there. At the 83-minute mark, he popped up once more. A long-range free kick for Sweden, but Ibrahimovic didn't care and shot from there, hitting a low rocket into the bottom right corner of Hart's net. No chance for the English keeper. 3-2 to Sweden, the comeback was complete. The delight of the Swedish fans was written all over their faces. And before the final whistle, he scored the goal of the night. In stoppage time, a poor clearance from Hart, and from a long way out, Ibrahimovic hit a spectacular bicycle kick, looping it over Hart in unbelievable fashion. An incredible acrobatic finish. A surreal moment, a historic goal to be remembered for generations. 4-2 to Sweden, a victory that went down in history. And Ibrahimovic, the man of the night, received a standing ovation from the fans and cemented his legacy in world football by winning the Puskas Award that year. The next wonder goal was also awarded the Puskas, and for good reason. It happened in the round of 16 of the 2014 World Cup, in a breathtaking South American showdown, Colombia versus Uruguay. The Uruguayans, two-time world champions, came in as favorites, but that game at the Maracanã would introduce a new star to the planet, James Rodriguez. Colombia started by dominating. They passed the ball, moved it around, and had over 70% of possession, but no one was creating any real danger. It was a tense chess match fought in the midfield, until around the 27th minute when the game turned into art. The midfielder Aguilar lifted his head and found James between the Uruguayan midfielders. The number 10 chested it down, swiveling his body, and before the ball even touched the ground, he unleashed a cannon of a left foot shot. The ball flew, it kissed the crossbar, and died in the back of keeper Muslera's net. A thing of beauty, a masterpiece at the Maracanã, one of the most beautiful goals in World Cup history. The crowd went wild, and that moment would change James Rodriguez's name from a promising talent to a national hero. But he wasn't done yet. In the second half, at 49 minutes, the fullback Armero made a good run down the left and whipped in a great cross to the back post. The midfielder Cuadrado rose well and headed it back across. And guess who was there unmarked? Him, James. He just tapped it into the goal at his 5th of the tournament. He was the top scorer of the World Cup at that point. And Uruguay, they only tried from distance. Their only real chance came at the 78-minute mark from a cross from the right. The defender, Maxi Pereira, appeared all alone, face-to-face with Ospina. But the Colombian keeper made himself big and pulled off a massive save. End of the game, Colombia 2, Uruguay 0. The Colombian team was making history, and the Maracanã watched on its feet as a new star was born. In the middle of the World Cup, James Rodriguez shone like never before and went to Real Madrid shortly after, one of the greatest players in the history of Colombian football. The next screamer happened in the 13th round of the Italian Serie A in the 2001/2002 season, a classic that brought the country to a standstill, Milan versus Juventus. And it was a massive game full of stars. On one side, Maldini, Rui Costa, and Shevchenko. On the other, Davids and Del Piero. It was a big game with the feel of a final. The first dangerous chance came from Juve. From a central free kick, Del Piero put a bend on the ball and forced the keeper Abbiati to stretch fully to save Milan. The duel was tight with strong marking from both sides, leaving few openings for the Stars to create. But at 23 minutes, the match gained an eternal moment. Andriy Shevchenko appeared in the middle, surrounded by 4 defenders. With explosive pace and control, he burst through the middle of them. And when he saw Buffon off his line, he had the composure to send a wicked chip over him. The ball traveled slowly in the air and died in the back of the net. An epic goal of pure genius. After the break, Juventus reacted quickly. Right at 47 minutes, a penalty for the old lady. Del Piero stepped up to the ball, struck it firmly into the left corner, giving Abbiati no chance and leveled the score. The classic remained balanced until the end, with tough tackles, important saves, and tension with every attack. The final score was 1-1. But what went down in history wasn't the draw. It was Shevchenko's goal, a masterpiece that immortalized that day at the San Siro. And if you like the video, you have to leave a like, right? Because we're going to make part 1, part 2, part 3, if you guys like the video, of course. So subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and I'll see you in the next video.